friends, welcome back to Freedom Homestead. I'm Tangi and we are in the homestead kitchen once again and we're still canning. I bought some chicken at a really great price. Spring and summer tend to be a very, very busy time for our family. We've got softball, we've got gardening and harvesting, possibly going to be getting my son involved in the 4-H shooting club. So I know that coming up, things are gonna be really hectic, and so I've been canning like crazy, trying to get my pantry full of easy meals and parts of meals that I can just open up, heat up, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, so I've already done a meat canning video and I'm doing the exact same thing except with chicken. Several of you requested it, so sure, why not? I am gonna go ahead and speed through this since it is repetitive. But I will talk you through what I'm doing, so let's go. Okay, so I've got my canner on the front eye, it's centered, I've got water in it, I've got my heat up on medium high, and someone shared in the comment section, I don't know if you can see this or not, but right here, I took a permanent magic marker and drew a line. Someone shared that tip with me and that was a really great tip, just to go ahead and mark the line so that way you can just go ahead and fill your canner with water without having to continually measuring to make sure you have the right amount according to your manufacturer's instructions. My pint-sized wide mouth jars that are washed and inspected and ready to go. I've got my meat that I'm going to be canning, and I have my lids already washed, and I'm going to have them on standby. We're going to dice these up. Any pieces of fat I'm going to take off, but we're going to dice these up into about stew size pieces and get them packed in the jars, and then we'll put our lids and rings on and get them in the canner. I'm just taking the meat and I'm cutting it into big chunks, and I am cleaning up the chicken as I go. So if there are any hard pieces, any pieces of bone that the butcher missed, any fat or skin, I'm just taking that right off. This kind of canning is referred to as raw packing, which means I'm taking raw meat, and as you can see, I am packing it very tightly into the jars. There is also hot packing, where you would actually cook the meat beforehand and can it that way. We're not adding any liquid to this because, as you'll see at the end when we pull the chicken out of the canner, that it produces its own liquid, so there's no need in adding any extra. Each pint, I'm adding a ½ teaspoon of pickling salt. You can use kosher salt. You can completely eliminate the salt altogether if you want to. If you do choose to salt it though, do not use iodized salt because it will cause the liquid to become cloudy. Now I'm wiping the rims with a paper towel that's been soaked in a little bit of vinegar, and then we're putting on the lids and the bands. Okay, so I've got my jars in, the lid is on, the heat is up. We're gonna let this start to vent, which means you're gonna have a steady stream of steam coming out of this valve right here. And then once it has steamed for 10 minutes, we're gonna put our pressure gauge on there, or its pressure weight. For my area, it's 10 pounds. So we'll put that on there, and then once this comes to pressure, when it comes up to 10 pounds, we're gonna process these pints for 75 minutes. If you're doing quarts, you would process them for 90 minutes. Okay friends, I just experienced a first with my pressure canning. This is starting to come up to pressure. You see I'm at the 5 pound mark, and a couple of minutes ago, the canner started whistling really loud. My canner is doing something really weird. It is whistling. I just took it off the burner, but it was whistling really, really loud. But it's still venting, like it's steaming when it, whoop, see? And it was really starting to freak me out because it was like this high-pitched whistle, and I didn't know what was going on. So I took it off the eye really fast and was just kind of checking everything. I was like making sure that I closed the lid good enough. I checked my weight gauge to make sure that it was on right. It was. And then the little valve that pops up back here, I took my jar lifter and kind of hit it and it quit. So best I can tell is that little valve somehow got caught up on something, and I will be transparent. I did not check the valves before I started this canning session. So it could be that just something got in there and prevented it from popping up correctly, but me just kind of knocking it knocked it where it needed to be. So it's all good now. But in case you're ever pressure canning and all of a sudden there's a very loud whistling sound, check that valve. I did do a Google search. I just typed in my pressure canner is whistling, and I came across a homesteading forum where somebody actually asked about that, and a couple of people suggested maybe the heat was too high, which mine's not. Mine's on the 6. So I knew that wasn't the case. And she said she checked her valve and it was the same thing, that something, that it wasn't all the way up and it was causing the whistling sound. So anyway, now we're learning together what this is. So anyway, just thought I would share that with you. Time is up. I'm gonna move this to the back, let the pressure come down. When the gauge reads 0, I'll take the weight off, let this sit for a few more minutes, and then we'll be taking it out of the canner. A couple of friends have asked if I would show what my pantry looks like. So from here to there, this is all canned stuff. So, and of course I've got 10 pints of chicken fixing to come out of the canner. I will do a more in-depth tour when I get all of this organized, but I'm actually gonna have to start moving stuff downstairs into the basement, which is the goal. And of course this spring and summer when we start harvesting and canning even more, I'm just really, really looking forward to seeing my shelves just get even more full. I want to show you guys something. Look at this. I thought I heard a crack. Look at this. The bottom of this broke. So that probably had a small crack in it and I didn't see it. So that stinks because that's food that we've lost. But that happens sometimes. That's why it's really, really important to inspect your jars. I did inspect mine, but like I said, it was one that I just missed. So anyway, lesson learned. But I still have 9 beautiful pints of chicken for my pantry.